start. Alright, so today we got a 2000, I believe, BMW 528i. I already started a little bit, but what we're basically doing, changing spark plugs, changing the whole valve cover gasket with the seals and all that stuff, and putting it back because we see some oil leaks on valve cover gasket. And then we did a diagnose the car. There was a misfire. There are a couple misfires. There was a fuel vent something leak, so we changed the gas cap and all that stuff. But for right now, we're gonna care about in this video, valve cover, spark plugs. So what you want to start with, just take off the plastics. We already did those. It's just gonna be 10mm bolts. You take those off. I went ahead and took this off. It's the same as this. It's pretty simple too. It should just pop off of here. I know you're using it as a tray. But after you get those plastics off, you still need the 10mm. Basically, that's all the job you need. The valve cover is 10mm. Those are 10mm. The spark plugs are different. They're probably 5/8 or something like that. What's the?
I have the spark plug socket
yeah, we'll check that. But all you need is 10mm for right now. Take all the plastics. I already started with loosening those off, so I just cranked them loose, cranked all of them loose actually, and I want to go with the drill, just zoom, take them off. But I just just boom boom, cracked them all loose, so they should all be loose. So it's all easier. Then went with this and take all of them off. Yeah, that's about it.
Do the same with the valve cover gasket. Even when you're putting it on, same thing. Start with your hand, and then the power drill, and then tighten it with your hand again.
Socket for that. But yeah, we'll be back with that, and we'll show you how it is when it's off. There it is. You just take them off.
Make sure you know which one is which one. So when you lay them here, if you're doing spark plugs, just lay them in the order and do it real quick. If you're not and you're doing the whole valve cover gasket, you can number them. It's not gonna take us that long. We're gonna do the same thing. Just gonna go ahead and put them on right here.
Yeah, just fucking all those. Right now it's everything cleared up. This is pretty simple. Just unclip it from these, get it like a flathead or whatever, unclip them. Yeah, that should be about it. So you could get to the valve cover. If you're doing the spark plug, like I said, you could just do it from right here on. He's gonna find the size right now, so let me know. This seems like the one that had a misfire. We'll check them, we'll see what's up. And let me show you what we got for it. Got the valve cover gasket. It should come with the fucking oil cap seal, all the spark plugs seals, all the good stuff. New oil cap. That's why we got this one. Might as well, because this one doesn't have it. That one sits on the plastic pieces. Anti-seize, spark plugs.
So the spark plug in there is a 5/8. You have to get this socket that has a little, you see it, a little black thing at the bottom, a little rubber piece.
Or a magnet, so it catches the spark plugs and it pulls it with you.
There's one that comes with the
all together with the extension.
Yeah, so extension.
this one, some of them pops it off, so he's just making sure it pulls everything together.
This one, any size you want, you could just adapt it like that. It's a little bit of tape. It's not gonna add like space.
Make sure it's not too much, so it still goes in. Just like that. It should be pull them off.
None of them are tight. None of them are tight.
You want to take one off so we can see it?
Let me see, unless they're free spinning. No, it's not free spinning. I'm curious to take this one out and see the one that's messing up.
It's about time for these.
Yeah, you see this one right here?
Yeah, some nice one, platinum Bosch. We got, I believe, what was it?
Champions.
Yeah, Champion.
If not Bosch, I'm not sure.
I believe it's still uranium though.
Yeah,
it's platinum, so the uranium is a little bit better. Ooh.
Yeah, there's oil blow by on these ones.
Yeah, that's why we're changing valve cover, all that stuff.
The spark plugs don't seem that bad themselves.
Yeah.
It's not. It may be running a
I've
little bit
seen worse.
Yeah, it may be running a little lean, if anything.
But yeah, just the same process, 6 more times, and it's pretty easy. Are you recording? Huh? Started? So that should be about it. We loosened everything all around. Gonna go at it with the load the wall, handy dandy the wall. Show them all the spark plugs. I don't think they see them.
See, there's a lot of gunk in there. It's time for the valve cover gasket, not really the spark plugs.
What was
Spark
this?
plugs still have a life in them, but
yeah, but might as well. We're there and there. This was 5/16 to take those 2 ground wires off, and there's a little red wire to right here too.
to ground
And
the
then-
spark, those. Ground.
Yeah, and then under them you have a 10 milli. You also gotta take those off, and then everything should that should be it. So we'll take them off and we'll show you how it looks like. Where's your other 10 milli? So this how it is after. So after this, like we showed you, like we said, you just take the first ones and that's it. The other ones, you don't gotta take them off. Those for actual, like, to hold the other ones on.
Those are studs.
Yeah, so like it would just hold for these. That's how it looks
here,
like.
let me show them how.
And this is here.
There's
the
the stud
actual,
that goes in there. It has to be torqued down.
that is for,
And this is the bolt
these.
that with the seal.
There's for these and there's for these.
These
Anyway.
ones came right out with the.
And this
With
is
those,
the gasket right here. I believe, look, they tried to use some gasket material on the corners too, or something like that.
And it's
Just
probably
like,
just burnt. I
No.
also just noticed about this engine is the pre-Vanos system one, which the Vanos is basically VTEC, if you're familiar with that, with the Hondas. It's after a certain RPM, it builds oil pressure enough to change, to basically phase the cams, to retard it or advance it, however, whatever it needs. I don't know the exact number of this engine. I believe it's the N52, don't quote me on that. It doesn't have the smog pump, and it has the race intake, plastic intake. After all, the engine looks in a pretty good shape. If you look at the cam, there's no, well, there's some heat marks and stuff like that. you see, but it's nothing major. You could see didn't have no major oil starvation. This just because it's a plastic and the oil on there sits on there and it actually burns.
Look at the plastic, how
brittle it is.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's about time.
you see how cracked, like it's just cracked.
Well, they have to be serviced. This car did not seem to have seen any services.
It does not have brake. Look at this, snapping.
Yeah, that
You hear
seems
it?
like a 2000 rubber.
Yeah, it's
Still from factory.
bad.
Yeah. What else?
Good thing on these you don't gotta scrape nothing, but
These,
look
they
right
have little
here.
tabs and
Probably
we
gotta
just laid them
clean
right
this.
there. But that's literally all you have to take. Oh yeah, you need like a little special tool for this. It's kind of like the fuel line tool. You just put it in there and take it, or you could use 2 screwdrivers, skinny ones, pop it just enough, a little bit, and just slide it out. But for now, we're just gonna change the gasket. After that, put the spark plugs back in there. Make sure if you do, I mean, I wouldn't leave it overnight. It's an easy job, but if you do have to leave it overnight or anything, make sure you put like towels under there and just close the hood so nothing gets in there. Basically, if it does, a little bit of air tools or vacuum will get it right off. Just get all the old gasket out. If it's old and brittle and breaks, make sure you take all the chunks that break off out of there. You don't want those slapping around where they can. Just clean where the new gasket lands. Make sure there's no little debris or nothing to cause the leak all over again. You don't want to do that job again. What else? Just clean it basically. We got a new oil cap for this thing because the oil cap has seen better days. I'm gonna take it off and clean there real quick too. If you have,
There should be seal for it too on the other end. There should be plastic too right there.
if you have engine cleaner, preferably do get that. Don't use brake clean. These are plastic. They'll make it more and more brittle. Just something to note, something for you guys to know. For sure it's common sense, but some people may be new to this or just afraid of doing it, need a little bit more information. I was there, and that's why I'm doing it right now. I needed that little bit of more information, and most cars I looked for, nobody had videos for. So that's what I'm doing now. Looks pretty clean. I already gone through all the holes, gone through where the gasket sits. We can slap the new gasket on, call it a day, slap everything back together. We got the gasket from an O'Reilly's Auto Parts. You can find it anywhere. It's a male fan gasket. Velcro's good too. Oh, you got it.
Yeah.
Pretty much brand new gasket and the
Spark plug seals.
little grommets
Those,
for
yeah, all grommets usually for the middle ones. There is some on the outside. Just check how much there is. For sure, there's all of them.
There's all of them. Sometimes
Yeah,
they give you more.
Just use all of them. These and this. That's just rare.
Just like that. Set this one in there. This one. Make sure they're all nice and set. Nothing Those
It's funny
rags
how
in there.
this like that. The old one was like paper.
Not paper, but it was just
Not like
paper,
paper, but
thin
like
because
how like I don't know. It's just crisped out a little bit. Yep.
make sure to clean your hands before you press them. I should not clean mine. I don't have a sink right now. We're literally in a parking lot.
Mobile shop.
But yeah, I cleaned them with some shop rags. It's the same I cleaned everything with. Just make sure you press them in. Make sure everything is in there, actually seated. And then go ahead and take this. This has these two.
Couple grooves put there too.
Okay,
yeah.
it's like that.
There.
It has these
grooves.
two, yeah, these two grooves, but these grooves have also these little
Yep. And just line everything up.
clips on them.
And there she's.
Line it up, push everything in. Make sure nothing cracks or bends or is out of shape. It's also a good idea to check your gasket before you open it, that it matches.
Yeah.
I've done this before. I know that's the one. So I was like, okay. I as soon as I seen it at the parts store, I was like, yep, that's it. Just like that. What I like about the BMW ones, you flip it, even though if you're not holding it, it's not gonna fall. Other cars, you're
Paper
supposed to put it like
ones,
that,
yes.
and there's like, you have to put a
It's a
dab
hassle.
of grease or something in there just to hold it, and then those just line up like
Those, you could do them as, I mean, they had them like this. Some of them were already on this, so you just pop this one off.
Can you move this real quick?
That's about it.
Just take it in there, sneak it down. Make sure you don't.
If anything, it's just the wires are there.
The wires. That's the only thing that's in the way, really. And like so, it's set. Give it a good, to make sure it's sealed. All the stuff back where it belongs. Obviously, we'll do that after it's done. You tighten all the bolts. But yeah, after that, you take these ones or these, whatever you're installing. You take this off. This one is stuck with it. You need a 10mm wrench.
There's another one.
Yep, that's this one. You need to save those washers. You're gonna have to reuse those. That's the only thing that you are gonna have to reuse. Those rubber grommets, they come in the kit. Just replace them. This stud goes in there. I'll show you right now how you install that one too. Sits in there. And you tighten it. Where's the 1/4 inch? Set it in there in your hand with your hand and go tighten it. I like to start with a 1/4 inch and then a 3/8.
The only thing I say you need is maybe like a thin wall 10 millis just to get to these, just because it has stuff around it, so a thin wall would help.
You don't really
Again,
have to
we're
get
using
to those.
small socket. Well, yeah, this one too, like,
You don't have to take them off in the first place.
yeah,
They do come
some
off.
of them comes off
Yeah.
like when you're doing it, it's just stuck together. Some of them you just loosen it and start taking it off, and that's
I
about
got
it.
this thin wall 10mm. I really love this thing. It's a thin wall. It's really long.
Already
I got
extended.
I got an assortment of 10mm sockets just for this one, and I don't seem to lose it. It's huge. You can't lose it really.
So all of these in there, just cut down a little bit, but for these, start doing it. So go out with the old one, washer, and then new rubber. So looks like this. put it in and thread it in. That is a new one, so you take it, get a washer, get a bolt, and you just assemble them. That should be it. Just do that for all of them, and just start going boom, 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 patting them all around, so it just sits right.
That's the new oil cap. There we go. Just tying everything back together. Then we're gonna throw the spark plugs next. Make sure you gap your spark plugs. Make sure you gap your spark plugs. I'm using this from O'Reilly's. It's supposed to be 2.07. Give them some anti-seize. You don't have to use anti-seize every single time you use it, but you do need anti-seize that way because they get through a lot of heat cycles. You don't want them to heat up and seize into the block.
Yeah, when you take them off, it's a whole lot better. So it's not just metal on metal heated.
Yeah, especially an aluminum block, you need anti-seize. Like a K-series block, K-series. I know some LS's with aluminum heads. Pretty sure there's a lot of other cars. I know BMWs use aluminum. What else? Not. Those are stones that came off the top of my head, but just a little dab.
Just give it a little bit.
Small,
When you
it doesn't
thread
really
it
matter.
in, when you thread it in, it just goes through. This should give you like 6 to 8. Like you should do pretty much. So just like that, we're done. All the old stuff. Pretty much just like we seen them. Put them back in, plug them in, and just stand them back in, those two, and we should be done. I don't know if we mentioned it, but we did have the battery off. So after that, just plug the battery in, put all accessories, cabin filter, all that stuff, and it should be set. Yep.